It's Friday, November 21st, and Ukraine has had a good night and good time stabilizing the battlefield while they're having a terrible time politically with the U.S.-Russia peace plan that just came out. And I'll show you all about the 28 points of that plan in my next video. But that's separate from what's going on the battlefield or what Ukraine attacked at night and that sort of thing. They had a good night last night. Okay, I'm not sure if this is just last night or over the last few days. Primary unit has targeted more Russian military equipment in Crimea, and I haven't shown you any of this, so this has all been happening. KH-27 ship-based multi-purpose helicopter, Lyra A-10 airfield radar complex, 55ZH-6U Nebo-U radar, Nebo-SV radar, and P-18 Terek radar. All of these things have been targeted. You have the video here where they're flying in and doing what they're doing to those, like here's the radar, right? Okay, so while that's happening, they're also continuing to go after power stations and oil. Not oil last night, but power stations, according to Telegram channel Astra, the Ukrainian UAV operation against Russian thermal power station Novo-Mikcherinsk, Ryazan region, yielded 2 explosions and consecutively a fire. The power plant's installed electrical capacity is 3,070 megawatt terminal capacity. The station has 6 power units and operates mainly on coal and gas. Now, I saw this. This was really well done. William Spaniel just laid out, this was a couple days ago, but it still gives you a great image of what's going on. He lays out where all of the air campaigns on oil, and then and a separate one, and I'll show you that, a second clip, where the thermal power plants have been targeted. So let's look at this.
Perhaps you have been paying close attention to Ukraine's remarkable mission to destroy every Russian oil refinery that it can reach. But are you aware that Ukraine recently started a second campaign?
Okay, look at this, though. I mean, isn't this pretty amazing? Like, that's what they've been going after since August 1st, all those red X's.
Similar in flavor, yet with a distinct target. And one that raises some fascinating questions about just how vulnerable Russia is. That is
okay, so with all of those, that's what Russia has done since August 1st. By the way, if you want to see the rest of the video, it's called The Astonishing Success of Ukraine's Air Campaign. Let's skip a little bit ahead and look at now that was all to oil and oil refineries and pipelines and things like that. Let's look at what they've done to thermal power generation in Russia.
The newer campaign did not start for more than a month and did not really get serious until October. It targets Russian power plants and the corresponding electrical grid.
And this isn't the way that Ukraine used to roll. They used to leave this alone, but then this year they said, look, if you keep targeting our thermal power, we're going to target yours. And here's what happened.
It is easy to treat these two campaigns as having identical strategies because they both use the same aerial weapons. However, some subtle differences tell us a bunch about the situation on the ground for Russia. The story...
Okay, so if you want to see the rest of that, that's the name of it. I'll drop the link in the comments below. Okay, so reportedly, Ukrainian drones have also struck a brick factory in Slavyansk on Kuban, located in Krasnodar Krai. Local media reports that workers were injured by debris, although it's likely the factory was directly hit. I'm not sure what the value of a brick factory is compared to other things, but I'm sure they have their reasons. Russian Shadow Fleet tanker is on fire off the coast of Vladivostok, just a few kilometers from the Alliance oil terminal. The ship's AIS was turned off, typical for Russia's covert oil fleet, making it invisible to maritime trackers, but it's on fire. I don't know that Ukraine was involved. Its oil fleet tankers are very old. Could have just been a careless cigarette for real, but we just don't know. Nevertheless, that's one less oil fleet tanker to worry about. Reportedly, there was a nighttime attack on Saki, Crimea, home to one of the largest airfields in Crimea. It was likely a UAV attack. However, there's no details about the results available at the moment. Sometimes this takes a day or two to get out. So that's all of what Ukraine was doing to Russia overnight. Let's look at what Russia was doing to Ukraine. During the night of November 20 to 21st, Russia launched a drone attack on Ukraine using 115 UAVs, including around 70 Shaheds. Ukrainian air defense successfully shot down or jammed 95 of them, so 19 struck targets across 12 locations. And we see the damage. Now, before we go to that damage, let's look at Ternopil. Rescuers have pulled the bodies of 3 more people, including 2 children, from the rubble of a multi-story building attacked by Russia on the night of 19 November. The death toll is now 31, 94 injured, 13 are still missing, state emergency services claim. Now, what happened there? I mean, they're targeting just civilian structures, right? I mean, it was like people in their homes at night in their sleep. That's not the only thing that they do, and I'll show you that in a moment, but that's primarily what they seem to be after, or have historically seemed to be after, until it turns to winter, and then they do something else, and I'll show you that in a moment. 1 woman died and 2 residents were hospitalized following Russian attacks in Sinelnikove district overnight in Dnipropetrovsk. Russian strike in Zaporizhia tonight. 5 people killed, 3 more injured, according to the local authorities. So they attack civilians in their homes while they're sleeping, which is disproportionately women and children. And where's the outrage in the world? Okay, but they also are attacking power generation stations. What you're looking at this is Russian strikes on energy infrastructure. Just like the maps that I showed you by William Spaniel, this is what the Russians are doing to Ukrainians. Okay, Russian forces, this is Euromaidan Press, aren't just hitting Ukraine's energy grid, they're dismantling it node by node. Russia is attacking the flexibility built into Ukraine's energy system, the capacity to shift power when one region needs more, the backup generation that kicks in during the cold snaps. This isn't just about reducing Ukraine's total energy capacity. Russia is systematically eliminating the maneuverability that lets Ukraine's grid survive winter under attack. It's carefully planned. So this is a far more intentional, systemic kind of approach than what they've done in the past. In the past, it's been just trying to, where's a power station? Let me knock that out. But now they're trying to really be clear and eliminate things. And they're having some success, and we're not yet to Thanksgiving. Well, not a Thanksgiving in the United States. Canada just passed a Thanksgiving, right? Okay, let's look at the battlefield now. 1,050 off the battlefield, a little higher than the average. No tanks, 3 armored fighting vehicles, 20 artillery systems, 65 vehicles and fuel tanks. So what's interesting about this is that the numbers are higher, but there are fewer engagements, according to Ragnar Gudmundsson's dashboard. Okay, Pokrovsk direction, that's what we're all going to be focused on, what's going on in Pokrovsk. In the Pokrovsk direction, Russian invaders conducted 56 assaults. It's about half of what it was at its height. So something's going on there. Russians still have made 0 progress toward Pokrovsk despite massive global propaganda campaigns to the contrary. Remember this? Gerasimov was talking about this. Our units are fully control 80% of Pokrovsk, and 15 Ukrainian battalions are completely encircled in Kupiansk. You remember how Gerasimov was talking to Putin, bragging about how they captured it? Okay, so yeah, had they actually done this, they'd be out taking victory laps right now. That's how you know that it's not true. Plus, here we go, deep state map shows the real situation in Pokrovsk, Kupian, and Volchansk, which is nothing like Russian propaganda. Now, is it bad? Yeah. Both sides want to have the fight there, but the Ukrainians seem to be holding their own while drawing more Russians into the cauldron. Okay, the Huliopol direction, Zaporizhia region, the Russians have tried 10 times to advance. So 10 as opposed to 56 shows you the difference in where the forces are massed, or how intense the battle is, that sort of thing. Huliopol's bad, but they stabilize it appears. Okay, reminder, it's been over a month since Russia and its bootlickers claimed that Pokrovsk and Kupiansk were surrounded and were days away from falling. That was a month ago. Can you believe that? I mean, that seems like just yesterday. Pokrovsk and Kupiansk stand and are Ukraine. Russia cannot win this war on the battlefield. I think that's why we're seeing this big push for the 28 peace points, because Putin knows that Zelensky is wounded politically because of the scandal, and so that's why they're pushing right now. I'll talk about those 28 points in the next video. Operators in the unmanned system forces consistently destroy aerial targets. Here's one of the key tasks of the 411th Separate USF Regiment is neutralizing enemy UAVs. Now, one of the UAVs that they're primarily going after is the Molina. The Molina, their low-noise electrical engine and primitive design make drones difficult for radar and air defense systems to detect. So these particular drones they get through more easily, or because just how they're designed, you can't really tag them on radar, but other drones can see them. On the Konstantinivka axis, neutralizing and advancing Russian infantry. Their cover positions were destroyed. Artillery gun targeting Ukrainian lines was destroyed and completely dismantled. Transport was reduced to scorched metal. They're doing what they're doing every day. This is the same kind of thing. Now, this one was really interesting. Ukraine dropped mines. Russian drone shoves them away. So this is a drone that's pushing mines off off a shuffleboard. Okay, I'll show you the video. Let's play that. Sorry about the noise. Ukrainian drones drop mines. Russian drones shoves them away. Ukrainian drone drops more. Robots fighting people. It's so interesting that's that's what's going on. So drone warfare is just taking leaps and bounds throughout this. I mean, that's a robot. I mean, it's just, yeah. Ireland, meanwhile, is quietly delivering 5 air defense radar systems like the Giraffe. So thank you to Ireland. Canada is delivering 25 M113 APACs and air-to-air missile components to Ukrainian Air forces. Canada ships over 150,000 pieces of winter equipment worth $30 million to Ukraine. This package includes over 78,000 pairs of wet weather winter boots, 51,000 winter jackets. Seems like a strong suit for Canada. So thank you to Canada. Chile is selling 30 Marauders to Germany in a secret deal. Armored is likely heading to Ukraine through a ring exchange. So thank you to Chile. Okay, we'll leave you with this, my friends. Today is a day of dignity and freedom, and this is primarily for Ukrainians, honoring what the price of independence is for Ukraine and how much strength lies at the foundation of true sovereignty. Today, we remember everyone who at different times fought for the right for Ukraine to be a free, independent, strong state who became a symbol for the world of human dignity and justice. And this goes back to 2004 color revolution and the Maidan revolution in 2013 into 2014. So yeah, we need to not forget the sacrifices that others have made. All right, my friends, that's all that I have. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person who cares about Ukraine.